Assalamualaikum. Good day, everyone. So we have come to the second half of the semester where we are going to look at another two types of letters, and these two types of letters will be tested in your final test. Okay, so the first type is complaint letter, and underneath complaint letters, we have two types: the complaint letter itself as well as a reply to a complaint letter, which is also known as adjustment letters. So these two letters will be in this topic. Okay, as I have explained to you just now. Okay, now letters of complaints usually include the following stages. There must be some sort of like a background, and then what the problem seems to be, what is or are suggested solutions, and you may want to also include warnings. It's optional, but later I'll explain, and of course closing. Now, first thing first is the background, and the background of your complaint letter acts as the introduction. Again, I would like to remind you that you guys need to bring this back to the 4-point plan that I have explained before. All right, so the first paragraph has to be the introduction, and in that introduction you must have background. So this section actually describes the situation. Yeah, so some of the things that you can look at the samples of introduction here, like I'm writing to inform you that the goods we ordered from your company have not been supplied correctly, or I attended your exhibition Sound Systems 2020 at the Fortune Hotel 22nd to 25th January and found it informative and interesting. Unfortunately, my enjoyment of the event was spoiled by a number of organizational problems. So basically, this is the background, and the background is the background of your complaint, where you wish to begin with, in your complaint letter, and it should be in your introduction. And moving along, we come to the second part of your letter, whereby you're going to write down the details and normally what seems to be the problem and what are the effects of this problem. So what are the causes, the factors of the problem, and what are the effects? Yeah, so you can have a look at the samples given here. And then the next paragraph, which is a third paragraph, is where you write down the action, what you plan to do. So basically, it should include solution and a warning. Now, let us talk about solution. A good complaint letter should consist some suggested solutions. I do understand when we write a complaint letter, sometimes, we just like to complain without even giving a thought of providing some solutions, because certain companies, when you provide them with solutions, they will somehow follow your solutions because it works best for them and it works best for you. So these are some of the samples that you can write on writing the solutions. um, Now let us talk about warning. Should you include warning? Well, that depends on the situation. If let's say this is your second or your third time writing a complaint letter, you may want to include that, so that to show to whoever that you are complaining for, to show to them that you are very serious about the matter. But if this is your first time writing a complaint letter, I highly advise you not to, because you may want to create a good rapport. As much as you have complaints with you, you may want to build on a good rapport with that person or that company, so that your issue or that issue will be resolved. And of course, the closing. All right. So some other aspects that you may want to consider in writing your letters in terms of politeness. Yeah, the tone of complaint letters should not be aggressive or insulting, as this would annoy the reader and not encourage them to solve the problem. In addition, questions such as "Why can't you get this right?" should not be included. All right. So this is the thing that you may want to consider when you write your complaint letter. Sometimes you think that the tone is correct, but you may want to double check with others. As much as you're filled up with angers and everything, but then again, you have to remember, as we want the issue to be resolved. Okay. And then, of course, the content should contain enough details so that the receiver does not have the does not have to write back requesting for more info. Legal action is not normally threatened in the first letter of complaint unless the situation is very serious. So this is a sample of a letter. Another sample of a complete letter. Yeah, there are two samples here. Okay, now once let's say you are the one to receive the complete letter, how are you supposed to reply that letter? So this is how you're going to write an adjustment letter. An adjustment letter means that a reply to a complaint. Now, this is a chart that I find it very useful for students to understand whether or not how you're going to write a complaint letter, sorry, a reply to a complaint letter. Yeah. Okay, first you acknowledge of the complaint letter where you have received that letter. Okay, next is whether you accept. You have to decide whether you're going to accept the complaint or you're going to reject the complaint. And you can actually look at this. If let's say you accept or you reject, these are the stages that you may want to include in. So again, in writing an adjustment letter, you need to comply with the 4-point plan. That is the introduction, the details, action, and closing. All right, so here are some of the expressions that you can actually use in writing your reply of a complaint. Yeah, if let's say you're going to acknowledge, how are you going to say it? If you're going to apologize for the error, what kind of sentence that you may want to start, or what kind of phrase that you may want to begin with? Or if you're going to accept the complaint, a short explanation, how, causes, effects, solutions, assurances, and also investigation to be made, proposal to settle the difficulty, regret, dissatisfaction, if you are rejecting the responsibility and reasons for rejecting it, okay, so on and so forth. I guess you can read on this on your own. You can refer to the attachment for the slides. So these are samples of letters of adjustment. Okay, so some follow-up activity that you may want to do on your own, or you can just partner up with your friends, or you can just do it in groups. Up to you guys.